Well, that's the-
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, a week from next month.
Any public comments, please turn in purple card. The one. Can I say we're starting?
Yeah.
All right, calling to order 6 o'clock. Please join me for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. You might have a note to our library.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Again, we have a live mic. I don't know how well picked up, but
Just know it's always.
careful of your whispers.
It's always listening.
Okay. Kim, go ahead and call for assistance.
All right, Dr. Breckenridge Pettit is not with us tonight. Dr. Hill,
Here.
Mr. Hobbs,
Here.
Mrs. Lundberg, here, Mrs. Pascal, here, Ms. Schuckman, here, and Mr. Smith.
Here. Okay, opening it up for board member comments.
I can go first. So I have four things I'd like to talk about. First, I want to take the opportunity to thank Joe for his many years of dedicated service to the school district. Our district is unquestionably stronger because of Joe's unwavering commitment to our students, staff, and community. Under Joe's leadership, we've seen teacher pay increase by more than 30%. The district has consistently absorbed insurance premium costs, which have risen by 40% over the last few years. And we've been recognized as a district of distinction multiple times. Joe has provided steady, thoughtful, and calm leadership, often grounding our conversations with the questions, what will this accomplish, and is this what's best for students? He was instrumental in developing our partnership with CMC, creating college and career pathways, and establishing both a financial plan that positions us to meet future challenges without cutting staff, and a facilities plan that ensures we remain responsible stewards of taxpayer dollars while planning for growth. Joe's leadership has always been built on trust, trusting our administrators, staff, and teachers to do what they do best, educate and support students. He has led with vision, sound policy, and fiscal responsibility. Joe, we will miss working with you, and we are deeply grateful for your years of service and dedication. Sorry. Secondly, following the recent election, I recognize that some in our community are excited about change, while others may feel uncertain about what lies ahead. So I want to reassure everyone in our community that my focus remains firmly on our mission statement. We will strive to provide a safe environment for all students and staff. We will seek meaningful opportunities and innovative educational programs so that all students may reach their learning potential. Every decision I make as a board member will continue to be guided by one central question: what is best for students? Third, as we move into budget season, I'd like to highlight an article that was shared with the board from the Summit Daily. The Summit School District has made significant efforts to raise staff salaries, which now account for approximately 89% of their total budget. This year, however, they've experienced a decrease of nearly 250 students. They had planned on a decrease, but this was even more than they were expecting, resulting in $222,000 less revenue than projected. They're now facing the difficult challenge of supporting salaries while maintaining their required reserves. Here in Salida, we have also been deeply committed to increasing teacher pay while maintaining a long-term financial strategy that keeps salaries between 80 to 85% of our total budget. This approach helps ensure that if enrollment drops, we don't have to make painful cuts to staff. It's worth noting that for the first time in several years, our own enrollment is down by approximately 20 students. Finally, tomorrow I will be meeting with Alex Lunsford, the Vice President of the Chaffey County Democrats, as part of my commitment to maintaining a nonpartisan school board. I want to have an open conversation about the role of political organizations in local school board elections. Our schools are strong when our focus remains on students, not party affiliations, and whether a board member has a D, R, or U behind their name should never matter as much as their dedication to our kids. I value keeping partisan money and influence out of local school board races, and I remain committed to ensuring that our work as a board stays centered on what is truly best for students.
Okay, I have comments. I'm just going to read. As we transition following this election, I want to acknowledge that this moment brings uncertainty. Change always does. For some, it brings hope, for others, concern. As a board, our responsibility is to ensure that through this transition, our focus on students and stability remains clear and unwavering. This election season was more politicized than I believe is appropriate for a nonpartisan, student-focused board. I was disappointed to see the local Democratic Party and other boards and associations become involved in ways that appeared more about politics than collaboration. I'll continue to encourage a future where board service remains grounded in collaboration and independence, not political or organizational influence. I also feel compelled to acknowledge that for many in our community, last school year carried real pain. There are people among us who continue to feel that impact. To those who have reached out to me in the past few months, shared their stories, and confided that this period has been especially difficult, I want you to know that your feelings are valid and not forgotten. I want to take a moment to recognize and thank Joe Smith for his service on this board. I've always been impressed by Joe's quiet, steady dedication both to our students and the people of this community. He approaches every challenge with thoughtfulness and care, encouraging patience and understanding over judgment, while always keeping the best interests of students, staff, and the long-term health of our district at the forefront. Joe's ability to listen and truly understand has strengthened our board and fostered trust between the district and our community. Beyond policy and finances, Joe has deeply engaged with students and families, often behind the scenes, in ways that most people don't see, mentoring, attending events, and offering guidance wherever it is needed. His leadership is grounded in humility, integrity, and a genuine love for his community. Joe's contributions have left a lasting impact on Salida schools, and I'm personally grateful for the opportunity to have served alongside him. Joe, I strive to carry myself with even a fraction of your patience, calm, and clear-headed logic. Not gonna happen for me. In closing, I want to thank our incredible leaders and staff. Your dedication, professionalism, and care for our students are the heartbeat of this district, and the quality of these schools is a big part of why I moved my family to Salida. Being recognized as a district of distinction reflects your hard work, collaboration, and commitment to excellence. As a board, we remain committed to being a stable, steady presence, privileged to guide this district thoughtfully, and to ensure the well-being and safety of our students in every decision. Together, we will continue to navigate challenges, celebrate successes, and ensure that Salida schools remain a place where students and staff can thrive.
I would just like to thank you, Joe. I think Joe's been a great leader. He knows a ton of stuff. He knows a ton of people. He is patient, slow moving in a good way, not drawn to agenda or silly ideas. It's funny that when I look for people for wisdom, it's usually gray-haired people. And Joe's got a little bit of hair, but here he is quite a bit younger than I am, and I absolutely come up to Joe for wisdom. So I appreciate his heart. He's a good, minded man and a good person to work with. I think that a good leader doesn't necessarily have to lead. A good leader wants the people he cares about to be led well. And I think he was also played that role. And I do think just because we have a great board, a great group of people, I think we'll be able to carry that tradition. But I also know that somebody is gonna make out like a dog, because Joe's gonna end up spending his time doing something else, and those people are gonna benefit.
Yeah, I'd like to thank you too, Joe. I've really appreciated your leadership over the years. The community really needs to know how much a board president does versus the rest of us. It's on a significantly amount more work than other board members. We probably all put in 20 to 40 hours a month. I would say, not every month, but certainly there's some months where it starts at 40. Joe probably consistently does, somewhere in that, if not more, every month. So it's a lot of work, and I think the district has grown, improved as a result of your leadership. Your financial background will be sorely missed on this board. I think it's a big hole. It's leaving that, none of us have that background, and I think being able to view, that's a huge part of our job is dealing with the finances in this district. And I think you've done a good job. You've been incredibly patient, over the years, we've had some phone calls and I've always appreciated your level-headedness to situations, even when I got a little spun up, which, I think you've done that with all the board members. So thank you. I think you've been a great president for the board and for the school district. Unfortunately, this election has also reopened both recent and longstanding wounds for survivors of trauma and their families and members of our staff. I acknowledge the outcome may have been harmful, impacting some individuals, and may have caused some renewed pain, anxiety, and uncertainty. As a board, we have a duty to ensure that every person who has been affected knows they are seen, respected, and safe. I know everyone in Salida School District carries a commitment to the safety and well-being of our students and staff. Community expects and deserves nothing less. Moving forward, this board will continue to be guided by integrity, care, and accountability. Concerns expressed by survivors, families, and staff regarding the election are real and must be heard and taken seriously. Regardless of who serves on this board, I know the board will remain steadfast in its responsibility to protect students, staff, and continually rebuild and continually earn the trust of our community one conversation. Thank you.
My turn.
You can have your turn.
Thank you. Seriously, from the bottom of our heart, you have done so much for our students and our community. And it's all been said, not all, but a little bit. I don't think you can make a list of everything you've done, the time you've put in, the passion you've put into it. And I know I'm going to miss you immensely. You have so much background knowledge and patience, and what everybody has said is so true. And I'm personally going to miss that. Being on the facility committee with you, I don't know half the time what's going on. So I go to Joe and he fills me in without making me feel like an idiot. I think that's just part of who you are. You never put people down or judge or make people feel bad. So I'm gonna miss you, and hopefully we'll see you in the community. I know I'll see you at the bank, but thank you so much.
Thank you. Not good when people talk nice about me and good at what thank you all. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of challenges. It's been a good thing. It's been a journey. Yeah, I don't want to get too tired of that. Maybe I'll say it more by the end of the night, but I have one thing to say that's not the most popular thing, which is fine. And I would just say taking issue kind of with some of the things that have been going on with some of our local reporting. I'm not thrilled. I'm pretty disappointed with Mountain Mail for kind of going down the path of publishing a pretty private personnel matter by going through a Cora request to put out the resignation separation agreement with our athletic director. Had a conversation with the county commissioner today, and they also had a separation agreement with one of their leaders, and Don Reimer, a few months ago, and it just got dropped and nothing was published about it. So, that was very disheartening. Sucks to think that, besides the private matter and everything else that we went through with Marco, that that's now in the paper and published, and he and his family have to deal with that. So sorry to Marco and his family. 3, 4 years, 5 years, I don't remember.
4 years.
4 years.
4 now.
Marco did a lot of good things. He grew our programs, and it's a mutual decision that time to go separate ways. He's gone through some things with his family and personal life, and I think the district had some different thoughts and ideas, and these things happen, especially with executive leaders, and it's real unfortunate that the Mail decided to go out and publish it by doing a Cora request. So hopefully do better for those things. And then also, my goodbye, but also we all know Will's got 2 more weeks with us. I think sometime this meeting, Kim will give us some updates of maybe some goodbye luncheons and things of that nature, but talking to Carrie a little bit, and obviously his health and whatnot, hopefully going to Arizona, smaller, lower altitudes will help him, but who knows how that'll all go. And I heard he'll be around for the holidays because Caroline will be here. So if you don't see him for his getaway dinners and things of that nature, you may see him downtown or something throughout the holiday season, so. Yeah, I don't have much more else to say. I'll say more probably to close out the meeting, so. Good enough? Good enough? Stop. Well, I will say one thing, because Corey's here and I don't expect him to be here to full note. And I forgot to tell David, so I'm like telling Savannah this, like, I told Corey when I was there last week, like, my daughter in first grade was like in title reading. And now in third grade, she's like on the cusp of GT. So like the improvements made and how well we do in the buildings and how great the staff is, like, yeah, I was sitting there and I was like, wait, is my daughter we're talking about? Remember a couple years ago? So, you know, obviously there's some methods at home, but a lot of that happens here at the school. So appreciate you guys and lots of good stories of kids and all the things, but let's get back to business. So thank you all. Please don't ever publicly congratulate, say such good things about my kid. Okay. I don't think we had any written messages.
Written messages to the board.
I have one public comment unless there's others out there. Feel free to stand, feel free to sit, do whichever you need to. I never watch the clock. Catherine, the floor is yours.
My goodness. In order to see you, I have to take these off. What an impressive group of people here. I served 17 years on the Chaffey County Fire Protection District. I was the treasurer for 16. The budget when I left was 1.2 million, not nearly as big as yours, but significant. Well aware of what public service does to your private life, your public life, and to your souls. I've had the opportunity to work with Karen when she was in the hovel over there. Well, it was my hovel because I was out there. I'm a music person. My goodness, what a change for Crest Academy. Well done, all of you. I do have some notes here just because I want to remember the things I want to say, but I need to tell you. I have a degree in teaching. Yes, surprise. I was an English teacher. I taught in Steamboat Springs. I taught 1 year. After the kids threw my keys out the window, I walked out the door and said, I don't think I can do it. I'm not a teacher. I am not a teacher. So I went back to school, got a master's in music, went on to study at the Metropolitan Opera, and I studied with her for 3 years. Lived in Europe. I speak French, German, and my native language is Swedish. I'm very proud of that. I'm a second generation Swedish person, and I am told I can move back to Sweden if I desire. I don't. You are my home. I lived in this community for 29 years. I know Joe very well. I know Karen really good. I know Mandy's kids. And the rest of you, I don't have a clue, but I do know your service is quite extraordinary. And so from that standpoint, as a taxpayer, as an educator, I want you to know what my history and what your history is. I have extremely long students. They start when they're in kindergarten and they usually go through senior and high school. Those students, I have 3 graduates, you, me, 3 graduates from DU with master's degree, 2 from Harvard, 1 from Rice, 1 from Cal Poly, probably missing a whole bunch more, a diesel mechanic, a massage therapist. What an extraordinary thing we all have done, because it takes all of us. It's not just me. It's not just Joe being in the leader, which he is, or you giving the support. You need to stand and work together. Sometimes
extremely difficult because on a fire protection district, it's basically a man's world. And I'm blonde. And the joke really is, you may laugh because most people think blondes are pretty stupid. And I will tell you, there are times I'm dumber than a box of rocks. But I believe in education. I believe strongly in what you contribute to this community. And so let me read this. But before I do that, Laterno,
Yes,
do you have any idea of the history of your name at all?
bits and pieces of it, yes.
The Laterno wheel?
Yes.
That is absolutely incredible.
A lot of people here aren't familiar with it, so.
Now, the Laterno wheel is a hydraulic mechanism and wheels that lets the wheels operate independently. And without that, we would not have Hoover Dam. What an incredible gift that name has brought
Yeah.
in our country.
Yeah.
No, not me personally, but my people, yeah.
So, so as a taxpayer, I'm here as a taxpayer, educator, person in the community. And now I have to put the glasses on. There's always a tendency for taxpayers to idly sit back and take pot shots at you and the school administrators. These are my pot shots of appreciation. Number one, thank you to all of you for your tireless service to the community, to the children of our community. The endless meetings, if I know you have them, and long hours you give in your service are not made, these services are not made aware to the public, and so thank you. Thank you, members. Number two, thank you, Joe, for your years of constant good sense and leadership. You are appreciated by me, and I know by many other members of this community. Thank you, administrators. I guess these are the administrators back here. The only time I was there was when I was in detention. So here, the thank you administrators for calm and consistent awareness of our children. To know that the children are safe, protected, and educated are very important. Here are some thoughts for the future. Continue the transparency of your efforts and leadership. To hide difficulties is not the answer. I have found in the past that your presence, the board, the administrators and teachers, and the honesty and the transparency you give the community is vital for maintaining trust. This is my first priority and concern. When leadership comes into question, stay focused on your board priorities and your oath. Remember, school administrators are obligated by law to report any unlawful behavior, whether by child or adult. And this also goes for me. I'm a private teacher. I teach a lot of kids. I've taught Mandy's kids, Karen's kids, I don't know her kids from, but anyway, I did a lot of teaching in her school. So all of us must maintain that standard. And you must not lie. Lying is the first way into perdition, believe me. So when leadership comes into question, please let me repeat this. Stay focused on your board priorities and your oath. Remember, the school administrators are obligated by law to report any unlawful behavior by a child or adult. This is not something you can finesse your way around. Be astute with money and be open to inform and educate the public. We can be a dumb lot, but bear with us. Thank you, board. Thank you, administrators. Good luck, Jesse, with surgery. Joe, good luck for the future. I hope all of you maintain good faith. And just, damn it, hang in there. And I've been going all day long, and I have to go because I'm really hungry. Greatly appreciate it.
Joe got his clothes.
Thank you, Ken. Yeah, you can still.
just one last question. What is the board budget? I know you're planning it right now.
18, 20.
21,752,985
Roughly.
And, you know, I think it depends on-
1 million. That's an awesome budget. And I know if you get ready to do any kind of a bond issue, please don't do it in May. People in May tend to be angry. I know stuff.
Didn't know that.
I also had to deal a lot with DOLA. So DOLA is the people you go to when you need to know information. May is not a good month to get people out for a vote. It's November. And so if you want a bond issue to pass, do November. And thank you again, and goodbye.
Thank you. Drop a beat here, didn't here. I've said that for a while. All right, no more public comment. I need the motion to approve the agenda. No changes.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Karen,
Discussion.
ready for vote?
All right, Dr. Hill,
Aye.
Mr. Hobbs,
Aye.
Mrs. Lundberg,
Aye.
Mrs. Pascal,
Aye.
Ms. Schickman,
Aye.
and Mr. Smith.
Aye. No guest report. Campus report.
Hold on, okay.
Academy.
We're gonna try something cool and new tonight, guys.
Heyo.
Yeah, look at this.
We're gonna.
So all our folks at home can see this?
Yeah, this is gonna be cool. So all of the people at home can now see the presentation that you guys get to see.
Good job, guys.
2025.
Teresa's like, I'm glad I went last.
No pressure, sir.
I see it.
And we have a flicker thing. Hold on. It's at this
It's
device.
this way, I think.
Point it this way.
Did it work?
Ah.
Here's my thoughts. Please put them in the minutes.
Thank you.
Okay, maybe just a like.
Just a nod, just a-
You tell me when you're ready.
just give a finger wag and we'll get it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do it. Okay, hi, I'm Tracy Service. I'm the principal at the Crest Academy and Horizons Sports Room.
Sorry. Oh, no, wait. There we go. There, yeah.
Okay, well, we are graced, with the presence of two of my staff members, Courtney Mueller, Samantha Bond. They are two of the 4 general ed teachers at the math department. They are the math department, yes, yes. So we have 4 gen ed teachers. We have, a special ed teacher, and a special ed paraprofessional who go back and forth between HEA and Crest, just like myself. We have a school counselor, we have a HAB secretary, we have myself, and we have Jessica Benna, who helps us out quite a bit as our school district psychologist, but she is at Crest and HEA. We are lucky, we've kind of been able to kind of take a pause and do some vision work. We actually did our vision work in conjunction with HEA. The thought being having like, who are we as our non-traditional schools and figuring out like what that looks like. Does not mean we're becoming one school, but what connections do we have? And both teams got in the same room and had a really great experience with Cindy Ward and Jackie Webb helping us. And we wordsmithed and we have our first draft essentially of our non-traditional vision statement, which is that both HEA and Crest seek to provide a dynamic learning community that is individualized, inclusive, and innovative, so that learners have a broadened understanding of the world and their place within it. Students are equipped with the abilities to overcome challenges in all domains while living with curiosity and joy. That is why we do what we do. We are super passionate about the work that we do. The Crest mission in particular, again, we've kind of started to wordsmith it a little bit and kind of, we really just, we're all bought into what we do, but it was, well, what exactly are we doing? So let's stamp it. Crest Academy is a four-year public middle school community that nurtures kind, courageous, unique thinkers through engaging academics and stewardship of the natural world. And so a lot of what we do, as I will talk about in future slides, is nurturing the whole student and giving them hands-on experiences. So we are essentially project-based and we do a lot of experiential learning. As much as
you know, it might look like, oh, they do a lot of field trips. Yes, but in said field trips, there is a ton of learning and experiences. It's really important for us that students, whether they're walking away with social emotional growth or academic growth, that they are growing from every experience that we do. And every experience we do is a lot of work and a lot of preparation, both for staff, for students. Literally, the kids are gonna get to sleep in the Cheyenne Zoo. Like, what? Like, how crazy is that? They're super excited about it. Some are a little nervous. But it's gonna be a very unique experience, and our teachers do an amazing job of finding different ways every year to really get kids out of their comfort zones. And so, again, we're pushing the development of a whole student through various experiences.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I moved it might work now. We're fine. We're in. Oh, wait, hold on. Back.
Yeah.
I don't know how my back, there we go.
There you go.
One
One
more.
more.
There we go. Okay. Got 'em.
So I think it's about 2 years ago at this point, Samantha started the 8th grade internship program, which has really prepped our kids for when they go to SHS and then ultimately experience Fred Maxwell's class. We've worked hand in hand with these organizations, a couple of the other schools, which we are so grateful for. And it allows our 8th graders to build, you know, their durable skills and just get themselves out there a little bit. And it's a good first, you know, try at internships, and they love it. They do all sorts of things depending on where they are. At AHRA, they were literally driving like excavators the other day, like obviously supervised in a safe way, but I was like, wow, that's amazing. So we just want to shout out all of those organizations and companies for helping us and taking our instructors. It's been amazing. And thank you to Samantha for essentially creating the whole program.
That's not right.
I'm teaching an intern how important it is to wash dishes.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Additionally, we've intentionally built in an 8th grade leadership class. We started it last year and it's grown even more this year. Samantha and Katie kind of co-teach and lead that. That's when we try to get in some of our Spanish development for students. But the students have a lot of leadership opportunities. They're leading whole school meetings. They're coaching and supporting other students with their projects because 5th graders are like, what is this project thing? So there's a lot of support there. They're organizing and coordinating the school store, which they receive tickets essentially through our PPIS system. And even middle schoolers love buying stuff at the school store. They lead various field trips, they participate in student council. So there's a lot that we're pushing with 8th graders to make sure that we're continuing to keep our 8th graders, because historically we've had a lot of 8th graders leave for the middle school because they want to try out the big school before they go to the big high school. But we've retained a lot of our 8th graders this year, so it feels like it's working. Just sharing some of our academic growth. CMAS scores, achievement and growth. Our achievement, as always, is fantastic. Our growth sure isn't as high as we want it to be in our couple of grades for math, but also our amazing math teachers like never settle, and we're constantly differentiating or diving into the data to ensure that every student is being challenged. I was just talking to a student at the bus stop. He was super excited because he passed essentially his pre-test, so like he's skipping a whole unit of study. And so huge props to Courtney and Samantha for like figuring out what that looks like and making sure that every student is being challenged so that those growth scores continue to grow. These are our math scores. This is our math results. Again, higher, like high achievement, our kids are rocking at 83rd and 79th percentiles. And a little bit lower growth, 40th percentile. But again, we're continuing to dive in and make sure that we're pushing every individual student. Reading scores, higher achievement, 78th and 80th percentiles. And Deb achieved medium growth, 54th percentile. Again, she runs essentially a 4-year program, so it builds on itself. So sometimes we don't see all the growth that we want to see in those middle grades. It tends to show up for our 8th graders. Our priorities for this year, it's really important that every student is getting the support that they need. So we're just being really intentional with our MTSS process and making sure that kids needing extra support are getting it. And it's very intentional and it's not just willy-nilly. We also, as mentioned, we're really focused on growth on MAP tests, making sure that every kid is growing. And then the last priority that we're really excited about is we're creating essentially a unified character strength language. So that as a unified school, students, staff, we're all talking about the same character strengths. So for example, if we're using the word grit, like what does that mean? We're defining it with students, we're making sure they know what it is, and all staff is using the same language. That unified language just really helps students like internalize the strengths, and then it creates a unified front. We are a little bit behind on our timeline for that, but we will catch up, and we are excited to figure out what are the strengths that we're going to hone in on for our students. Lots of pictures, lots of experiences. It's been a really awesome, fun school year so far, and it's only November. And I just want to thank parent and community volunteers. We have to farm out our specials classes to community folks. So like Ryan O'Brien, Bones, Zell. We're grateful they're helping us with music and art and yoga. Obviously you guys are huge supporters. Our building is amazing. We're grateful. I think we're finally feeling settled in the building-ish. We're in the fifth year there. And then my staff, amazing, love you guys. And our grad students, they're awesome. They're great humans. They are super excited about learning, and they want to grow and be middle schoolers. So it's fun. That's what we got. Any questions?
Questions?
Thank you, Service.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Jody's not here to grill you on. Are you at 60? Yeah, I know. You're at 60 very well, 15 for grade?
Yeah.
Good enough. Cool. Okay, thank you. District reports, Aaron will be talking to us soon. David sent a lengthy email. So if there's any questions, comments for Aaron, Savannah, principals, now would be the time, other than budget stuff that Aaron will talk about later. Unless you guys have an update over there.
About tomorrow, the game's at
Soccer
7:30.
games,
It's only
yeah.
an hour behind.
Sorry. Wrong hat, wrong priority. Is it at Western?
It is at Western, yes. There might be a Salida coach who's complaining about Chastain. Helped facilitate that. You might not be allowed to talk about Chastain. A lot of things going on.
Most importantly, there's a soccer game we're gonna go to tomorrow, so.
Anything, Savannah? Proceed. Okay. No questions from the board? Yeah, you got it easy tonight. Since this will be my last meeting with you, you will see me as dad, which might be more fun. Unfiltered and just, whatever. So you'll see me plenty. Thank you all for all you do. I appreciate you greatly. We'll take our 5-minute break and let people that don't want to stick around and talk about the last few things get on with their life.
Missed the meeting.
Okay, we're back at 5.
That's the only
Sounds
All right.
good. Okay.
We've motioned and seconded on the consent. We included the interim activity director that got added to this, correct?
It is,
Kind of got included personnel last minute.
yes, and this one, no, it's
Actually
not.
not. We should have added that to changes.
Well, but it'll
It's in the
go in your
personnel
next one.
items, though.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In the next one?
Yeah, usually like that one just came to me today, literally, so I don't catch all those.
Okay.
But good question.
Concerned, but that's not.
We
No, it's
lack of
still
discussion.
streaming, but it just, we don't need to see what's on my computer anymore.
I would love to know.
Unless you want to look at yourself.
Unless you want to look at yourself and enjoy your chocolate.
Seemed like a
I
lot
mean, I
of, lot
did.
of screens for
I
me to
did.
manage, so.
I like to eat on the live.
I'm still watching, we're still live on the WebEx, so.
All right, if no more discussion, ready for a vote?
All right, Dr. Hill,
Aye.
Mr. Hobbs,
Aye.
Mrs. Lundberg,
Aye.
Mrs. Pascal,
Aye.
Ms. Schickman,
Hi.
and Mr. Smith.
Aye. Discussion items.
Me?
Coach Dobson.
Beard is what everyone calls me down Thursday days. Like this thing broke with playoffs, it's disgusting.
Is it like, it's on your hockey
It
thing,
needs
huh?
to be repealed immediately. Pass those around, so I get it. This is a very basic, I mean, the good news is we are a month ahead of schedule on our amended budget. Which means I'm 3 months behind Sheila's typical schedule on amended budget. That's okay. You didn't laugh, I thought that'd be fun.
I
Don't worry, we'll carry on without the jokes. So we are, no, so usually I bring this to you starting in November, and then we kind of give you a finalized look in December on the amended budget, and then you vote for everything on January, so you'll still be voting in January on the amended budget. We'll do a more in-depth work session, I would imagine, either next month. Yeah, next month is December, so next month we'll likely do a more in-depth work session. This is just the basic changes that we go through. So kind of in the first part where I'm taking everything that we know is changing from the start of the year and every single line item that we go through, and I've adjusted those. So for example, the biggest things that change is people who we budget for like when we have a vacant position for a teacher, for example, we typically at the start of the year budget for a master's 7, which is kind of right in the middle somewhere, because we know there might be somebody who comes with a PhD 15, there might be somebody who's a BA. We've tried to find out the most common, and that's kind of the best way to do that. And then as the year happens and you hire people, then you can actually go and put the person in there and figure out exactly how much you're budgeting for. So, but anytime you change salaries, that also changes para and that changes Medicare and things like that. So each of these represents a lot of line items, and we'll go over that next month, but basically, the different salary pieces that have changed, we're down $45,000, and that means we're down about $17,000 in the benefits. Overhead miscellaneous expenditures that have changed, we've come in under on some of our cap projects, and they are closed out at this point, so we know we're gonna be down a little bit of money there. There's a couple question marks around the lighting project, things like that, but at this point, from what we budgeted and what you approved, we are definitely gonna be below what we expected. So that's that line number 5 there. And then the line that I'm most excited to get you analysis for, because I think it impacts future years, is the PTO SLBAC, which is something that we voted on 2 years ago. This is the 3rd year, basically, of the payback. And then it goes forward, but we're now to a point where I can tell you definitively at the end of the year, we're buying everyone down to 45 days, and I know exactly who that is, and we're not having to buy down to 60 and then 52. So going forward, we'll be buying everyone down to 45 every year at the end of the year. So this year, it was initially, we had put everybody in, you're kind of budgeting how many hours are out there. We were at 270,000 to start the year, and now after we've seen who's taken PTO, we've been able to kind of predict. Right now, our max liability is 220,000, but that's if no one took another day off that's in that category of people. That likely won't happen, so I've budgeted a little bit more aggressively there. And so we're gonna, that's about 70,000 less than we had on the initial budget, which saves us quite a chunk of money. But what it really does that I think is important for the board to hear for future years is now we know the total liability of this program going forward. The past 3 years, we've had about 60 people every year who are over 45 days at the end of the year. And so at the beginning of the year, they'll get 10 days, and then at the end of the year, you'll buy them down to 45, and then they'll get 10 more days the next year, and then you buy them down. And so just doing that math, like your max liability every year is $107,000 on this policy. But that's those people that have been in that group of 60 have on average taken 2 days off per person per year, which is 20%. So I was able to figure out, basically, we can budget about 135,000, and that'll be pretty accurate for the PTO sell back to us. So, go ahead, Karen.
So does that mean at the end of their career, when they retire, we're only paying them out 45 days?
Well, so if they start the year at 45 days,
Uh-huh.
and then they get 10 more days, you buy down any hour, but it depends on how long they've been here. Because if they've been here for the full 20 years plus, then they get bought down the entire amount, but that goes into a medical trust. At that point, everybody else is on a different scale. So like you have to work here 6 years before you're eligible to have any hours purchased.
Okay.
And if you've worked, I think it's 6 to 10, it's 10 days can be purchased. So it's be anything above 45 to 10 days, basically. I don't know if I'm speaking that correctly, but that's the idea. So there's like a staggered buy down, and then if you work your whole career, then at the end of it, you retire. We do buy that down into a medical trust. And that money's then yours that you can use for medical expenditures in retirement. So, yeah, so it's a liability, but it's also something that it's a really good benefit for staff. We actually are paying staff every year now. So there's a decent chunk of money on the table for people who are able to work. And at the same time, we're providing, up to 55 days off to start the year, paid. So that's a good starting point, I think. I think it's been successful. We've seen, less PTO taken over the past couple of years, which is allowing us to have a smaller substitute budget as well. Not that we don't want people to take PTO, please don't hear that. That's not the goal. The goal is to have PTO and use it when you need it. But at the same time, if you're not using it, we want to reward you for that by finding ways to provide you a little extra income. So I'm really excited about that because in the future years, it's going to be a lot of money that over the past few years, you remember we budgeted about 400,000 the first year, about 300,000 last year. We're at 270 to start this year. So that's a chunk of money that's coming off our budget in 3 phases that now is going to be a lot smaller that we can put towards some other staff projects. So.
And do you remember like what the liability was when we first started this? Was it mysterious and nebulous? Or was
Well, yes, is the answer to that. Because, yeah, I mean, so 3 years ago, you were allowed to accrue up to a certain amount of time, but you were also allowed to earn time off at different areas that either went to your personal time or your sick time, and we didn't have a good tracking system, so we had some people that were well above the amount that was allowed by policy, but at the same time had earned it, and so, yeah, it was a bit nebulous for sure. I'll be able to give you by next board meeting a total amount that we've basically been able to pay out to get down to where we're at. So I can do that for you if you like.
But this is about what you're anticipating for future years.
Yeah, even a little less than the 200. I mean, check my 140. So. Sorry. So that's an exciting thing to me. But so for your amended budget this year, you're already down on expenditures, 144,000. Revenues, we've really only adjusted one revenue in a really positive way. And that's our Medicaid revenue. We consistently get more than what we have budgeted in the past. That was the line I kind of brought you when we did the initial budget that I wanted to dive into. And I was able to really dive into our Medicaid revenue and get some clearer answers on that. And I think that we were able to increase that by about 100,000 this year because we've been getting close to 250 to 280,000 a year for the past couple years. And we've been budgeting about 180. So that was a line that, like I said, we did the initial budget. I felt like was a positive change that we'd see by the amended budget. And I feel good about that after doing a lot of research on it. Some revenue changes that you should still expect. A couple changes, because obviously this is just the initial look. We're down 20 kids. So that is going to affect our revenue projections for this year. There's an averaging over 3 years at this point. So it will probably feel more like 13 kids that we're down in terms of how much we get funded. That still means we're going to get more money than last year. That's still fine. We're going to be able to push through that. It's going to probably be about 150,000 less than we expected. But there's a lot of pieces that go into that. I think that our specific ownership taxes have actually been higher than we've been projecting over the past few years. So I want to dig into that still. I think there's some money there that we can add into revenues that'll kind of offset that balance. And also once we find out what the actual assessment values is, then I can calculate the MLO. And the MLO is going to help us understand, did we get more money off of our property taxes locally or not? Because we do have the mill levy overrides that are percentage based. And so if our property taxes locally go up, that's the only way we get any more money is off that MLO. I am anticipating, based on what everyone tells me, that we should expect property values across the state to go down. I don't know what's going to happen locally, so I'm not ready to make a prediction on that until I see the numbers soon, which should be very soon, I should be able to project that. So those are the big changes that I would expect still. The big fear is that if we continue to have declining enrollment, we can end up in situations like Summit that you brought up earlier, Mandy. Certainly not something I'm concerned about yet, but I think we should start considering as we're building the next budget that we may have a declining enrollment or even a few kids. We're seeing that, especially at the high school. We saw a lot more kids go online this year than have in the past. And so we're digging into each kid, trying to figure out what might have caused that. Not that we're chasing down kids, but just trying to get an analysis of what's happening there, because obviously that's our only way to make more money. So we don't get to go out and sell cheeseburgers on Saturday to make more money. So we do, but that usually goes to sports programs. So that's the biggest thing you should expect that we should see changing in the coming months. I'm really excited that, like I said, there's only 4 or 5 big changes that I still need to get more information on before I can bring it to you. I think we have a really healthy budget. If you look at the bottom section here, the lines 20 through 26, that's the same graph I've been trying to bring you each time. With our financial plan, you can see the goals on the right are what we're trying to bring in, but our total revenues right now on the amended budget are about 21,130,000, and our total expenditures are 21.7, which is less than 3% above our revenues, which is great, because I also told you I thought our fund balance would grow by about $600,000, and it grew by about $700,000, so that covers that problem there. And then, we'll get to that in the audit next month, but we've kind of been talking about that the past couple board meetings. Our staffing, because you can see the top, most of our changes have been through salaries, benefits, and then PTO, which is coded as a salary. So most of our decrease is in salaries and benefits right now. We're still above that 80% threshold at a minimum, so we can look at what we want to do with that, but we're still in the area that we wanted to be. Yearly overhead, honestly, the yearly overhead didn't change hardly at all, but because you have your revenues are slightly different, you see a small change. I think a couple of small changes were made in maintenance and things like that, but nothing major. And then the last 2 lines, line 25 and 26, you will see this next month. You approved a sped room for the middle school, and that came in significantly more expensive than what we initially thought. And so we have not started construction on that. And they are working on getting a plan and a cost for what that actually will be. It's not going to happen this year. And so the way that I've coded that for now, and you can decide what you want to do with it, is that we push that into a cap renewal fund where you basically take that same money you put towards the project and save it for when you're ready to do that project. You have the right to decide not to do that if you want to. But that's why you've seen the savings for future needs go up and the one-time cap projects go down. So if you look at the percentages on the original budget and then on the amended budget, that's why they've gone up and down by about the same amount. It's that one project. So we'll have to decide what we want to do with that. David will have a recommendation with Sean next month, but it's pretty substantial. It's a need that the middle school has. There's no question about that. Sure. Eric would agree with that. But it's an old building and there's a lot of electrical engineering that we didn't know about that needs to go into it. And so it's going to be a more expensive project than we thought. We're going to have to decide what we want to do with that.
So there's no sped dollars that come into that from the federal government in terms of the capital? How's that work?
I mean, so we get sped dollars in. So far, we're spending sped dollars on our sped programming.
That's specifically for the construction project?
No, we've looked at the grants for the past couple of years and haven't been able to find one. And I still have Jackie kind of looking into it where she can. But we haven't found a grant specifically that's going to cover that. So it's a challenge for sure that we're trying to solve. If we could find it with grant dollars, that would be my preference. But I don't like moving out of the general fund for that type of thing. But I don't know if there's a way around it at this point or not. So hopefully we'll have a better answer for you. The other things that are out there are, you saw on the board last month, we've got the lighting project that needs to be, all of our lighting needs to be updated. We're to a point where they have an embargo on all of our current lights. So as long as we drive to New Mexico, we can order them and have them shipped there and pick them up, but we can't order them here, which is fun.
Well, and I think one thing in the work session, like Jesse
Yeah.
definitely talked about how actually it's starting to really impact them. Like they have a light in the office that's just been buzzing since school started that they can't replace. He said the lights in the gym are super, super dim. So it might, I think to some people they're like, oh, this is stupid. You guys are gonna spend money on lights. But like Jesse said, literally by the next year, we won't be able to host basketball games in that gym, most
That's-
likely because it's that dark. So it's not just this frivolous, let's update our lights. It's becoming sort of a safety concern and a quality of work concern, and it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I think it's a total requirement at this point that we have to have done, and what we're trying to do is find the best way to do it affordably.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of clarify for the community, like, this isn't just that we've decided we want to update all of our lights.
Yeah, good point.
Like, we don't want our kids playing in a gym that's so dark that we can't have them be in there safely.
That's true.
LEED certified building is
Pretty
actually.
high priority.
Yeah, that's-
Schedule.
yeah, that one is one of our top priorities because we literally can't get the lights right now. So that's number one. We're also looking at the BAS system because as Janae can tell you, it turns out that elementary school is very hot the first few weeks of school. And sometimes it's very cold now and hot in some rooms and cold in other rooms. Still hot. It's still hot. So one of the solutions to that is basically the brains of your HVAC system. It's called a building automation system. We did a quote with Schneider Electric initially on the contract that you had us go out and look at. And we think it's way too expensive, so we're putting out a new bid process on that, a new RFP. I already know we can do it substantially cheaper. So we do need to do something with that because it's not functioning the way it should be. So there's gonna be some cap project, but that probably won't come to you until we have a full solution and that'll be a summer fix. That's the earliest they'll be able to fix that, would be my guess, because the RFP has to go out. There's a process with that. And then obviously there's lots of cap projects that we've discussed that'll be coming to you in the next few months that are likely next year / summer type projects. And it sounds like you had a great work session. Robust. Okay, excellent. Well done. That work session. Sorry, I missed it. I'm not.
Priorities. Aaron, one of the questions I had is, did we do the transfer from the HEA sale, the monies into the fund? Like Fund 10 or whatever fund?
Yeah, that is, so when you transferred or when you sold, you're talking about the old HEA building?
Yes.
Yeah, with that, all of the assets that you're selling right now, including that one, once they sell, they're going into Fund 43 because the strategy was to basically have that cash to pay off the loan that you're taking. Now, if we're not currently advising that because currently we're making more money on the cash than we are losing on our interest rates. But actually, Karen asked a great question. When does that flip? Right now, on average, we're paying about 3.5% on our two loans for the COPs. And we're making like 4.2 roughly on average. So if it ever went below 3.5, it'd be something the board would want to discuss. Is it more financially reasonable to just pay off the loan, or does it make more sense to keep the cash for the cash flow purpose? So right now, we're basically using it so we don't have to go to the state. There's another piece of it. We're able to make money on the cash and we don't have to do a 0% cash flow loan since most of our money comes later in the year. So it's, yeah, but we did transfer them.
Is that still available in case we do need it, the 0%?
Yeah, all that money is available. And I mean, we still have the sale. One thing that's not in the budget currently for Fund 43 is the sale of Spartan Heights, because I believe it's still happening in roughly February. So I'll have a more firm answer on that, but that'll be a chunk of cash that's there as well that you can either pay off the loan or use it in cash flow. So. And that was in the facility plan initially when we were talking about taking out the loans, was selling those assets specifically to cover those loans.
If you had to do the 0% loan again, do you have to redo the whole application and everything, or it's like you did it once and just update?
No, we'd have to redo it, and you have to know before the year starts. I mean, you can come back into it in January, but it's much harder. It's easier if you start the year. At this point, I'm not concerned. If we started spending a bunch of cash down out of those accounts, like if we decided to take that money and spend it on something else, then we would need the 0% loan again. It's 0%. It's not a big deal. My only concern with that loan long-term is the state budget. I don't know how long that money's gonna be available. They say it's 0%, but double the districts are using it as they used to. I don't know how long they're gonna just have free money lying around while they're telling us that they have no money. Seems counterintuitive, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the state's not telling me everything I know. Maybe there's more money than I know.
And I've been curious, this is kind of off topic a little bit, but how do you stay on top of all the changes and do you get like a newsletter? How, I mean, how do you stay on top of all of it?
Yeah, I mean, I get 6 newsletters and I read a lot of bills when they're talking about the bills, and so a lot of time on a screen.
When the bill passes, or do you?
No, typically I'm reading it as they're talking about it,
Okay.
as they're adjusting it and trying to keep up with it. And then you get a new run every month or two. So for example, the governor just passed submitted a new budget request for next year, which I think is great for us. He actually is highly supporting education and not cutting into the new formula that they passed last year. And so diving into that, trying to figure out what that means. And so they'll send you a spreadsheet saying, well, if you have the same amount of students, it'll be this amount, but then you try to dive in and figure out how does it impact you with ELL kids and things like that. So it's time with Jim, because Jim's the best and knows all of our data. So once I have formulas and spreadsheets, we can usually figure it out. But
And when you say they, not Caspi,
No,
the
they.
state, okay.
yeah, it's big. Legislator. And then we have also Tracy Rainey with the school finance project. I lean on her task force pretty heavily as well. They're in every single group.
Oh,
So,
thank you. I mean, what a
yeah, thank them. They're
volatile. Crazy.
No, yeah, it's absolutely happy to do it.
Yeah, one of the other things we talked a lot about is, forgive me if I say I'm wrong, FF, free food for all, and whether or not we should participate. You know, Jody was wanting to have that conversation, but with LL and MM passing, like maybe FF is not a drain on our budget. Like it's just so unknown that.
Yeah, I mean, I can answer that pretty well. I mean, Mandy asked me before that was on the ballot, how does this affect our budget? It doesn't really. All it does is keep them being able to run it the way it is being run right now. Basically, when we passed FF, one of the things about Colorado is you can pass laws that tell the legislature that they have to spend money a certain way, but it doesn't tell them how they're gonna have to find the revenue for that. And so basically, they have to do free food for all because we passed it, but they have no revenue that was equal to that. So it's turning our budget upside down at the state level. So we were able to go national. We became a CEP program, which means we could get most of our money from the national food service. I don't remember what it's called, but we can get funds nationally. And so it was working for us. It doesn't really affect us. We're gonna get the same amount of money per plate. So it's not a huge deal. It's just gonna make sure the state has enough money to continue running it. We'll still have to decide if we want to do that or if it costs us more. It does cost us more than if we were to come up with a cost analysis and say we're gonna charge $5 a plate like we used to or whatever. We could come to a more of a break-even point. The problem is the question is how much do you want to spend it? How much do you want to do that to the community versus how much do you want to follow what the state's done and the voters have done by saying we want a little subsidy. We are having to subsidize, and almost every school district. Free food still means that the district has to subsidize in order to make it work. But we get a chunk of money.
But that chunk of money has to go to food.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying on that.
Yeah, and so we transfer money every year from our general fund to our Fund 21, the lunch fund. And that's to cover our expenditures.
And that was what, 30,000 this year?
300.
300,000.
Yeah, it ended up being 250 last year at the end, but we budgeted 300. We were able to do some cost savings along the way. We used to do roughly 200 to 150 to 200 when we actually charged per plate. But the free food for all basically mandates that you get paid a certain amount per plate and that you serve. And so it's not a way that you can say, well, it costs us X amount to prepare a plate. So we need to charge Y like you would at a restaurant. And so, you know, if you're losing slightly per plate and you're selling more plates, then you have to fund that some way. But flip side of it is kids are eating for free, and there's a lot of people who need that, and it's a great benefit for a lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of staff members who now their kids get to eat, and I think that's a benefit. So you have to weigh the pros and cons of that as a board and decide what you want to do. We can always come up with another solution, like Jody's asked us to. I don't know politically where everyone wants to go with that. But
I don't think we've ever been, like, we subsidize the food program regardless.
we always subsidize.
Waste and everything else, so.
Yeah, we're just subsidizing it more than we used to.
I would like to look into that too.
Okay, I can do that.
Because the waste and not everybody needs a free lunch or, I don't know, I'd like to look at some other.
Yeah, I recall like 2 years where we were really thrilled because we were like under budget, but it was still under 50,000
Right.
to
But-
cover for waste and all the things.
It also affects anytime, the biggest expense you have is staff. So anytime the people preparing meals. And so anytime that we do increases to staff in the lunch fund, that's gonna be your biggest cost. So just something to,
So the nutrition salaries are out of that bucket
Yes.
versus.
everything except for, Head Start, and not Head Start, but UPK. We get some money from UPK for UPK lunches. And so those are actually in the general fund.
So I'm just thinking. Free food for all waste, I don't know, it'll come back.
No worries.
It's something, okay, let me. Think about it.
Always open. Hit me whenever.
Oh, I know what it was.
There we go, I'm ready.
Do they still have to serve the nutritional to every child also?
Yes.
Is that a state mandate or?
Well, that's an Andrea question. I just
Okay.
know the answer is yes. There's specific things they have to serve with every plate, but
I think it's federal, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's an
They
Andrea
told
question.
me.
yeah.
I
think
can tell you
it's
it's still a cost of regulation.
But not what goes on.
Yeah, not the
Okay.
requirement of what they put on.
But they also have exceptions for kids with dietary, right, like vegetarians don't have to take that, they get something else or whatever.
And we do the waste with, Julie Mock, correct? Is the waste going to compost?
Composting, yes.
Elemental five.
Right,
Is that at
right.
every building now?
Yeah, I mean, we have composting in every building and we do it as much as possible. I mean, I don't know the answer. I can't tell you. I've been in the lunchroom multiple times for Thanksgiving and things like that, but I don't know how much how much is going into each, like the trash can versus the compost.
I mean, that might be interesting too, to see how much waste is.
Sure.
Anyway, yeah,
Sure. I can hand it over to that for you.
thank you. Sure.
Okay, any other budget questions?
You will get a big video. I'll put it to you, by the way, I assume you're tipsy. Okay, you'll get a big video next month, I assume, of all the budget stuff and audit stuff and all that. Coming soon.
And some fun music.
And you will get Rage Against the Machine.
Oh, the very. Yeah, just the trophy in the background.
Yeah, the trophy will be in the back.
Oh.
He's got to decorate his office somehow.
Already discussed, we've got all sorts of
There's
plans.
two of them in there currently, like, aren't we supposed to be with the high school? I was like, they're supposed to be.
I'm sure those.
Yeah, they're on their way, they're just taking a detour.
Like when we did that 50th year celebration, Anna took the thing and like everybody signed it. We had it for like the weekend. It was,
Stanley Cup.
yeah, I was like, yeah.
This is a big cup, and I'm like, that, I like this. Drink all my coffee out of it.
Okay, thank you, Aaron, for shifting priorities for just a moment. So
Oh, we don't actually have any second reading. I thought you up to that, and we don't.
I know. So action items, we don't have any second readings. Need a motion to approve MOU with Ice Rink for Chaffey County.
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. As we talked about in work session, I believe this is a 2-year MOU, correct?
Pull it up.
I think they wanted a multiple year commitment, but this is kind of a temporary structure. There's a lot of long-term planning that the sites and the electrical that they're gonna put in there.
March 31st, 2027.
So 2 years.
That's the end of that one.
Mhm.
Got this one.
And I know that there will be conversations with long-term, how Guidestone plays into that, like the refrigeration from the electrical upgrades and everything else. Great benefit to the district for some of the, we'll just say excavating that's gonna need to be done for the ice rink anyway. Great for them to have a location for the next couple of years as they continue to wade through where they can find their permanent place. I see John was online earlier.
Yeah, I think
He
we're
may
being
still be
watched.
here. So he's gonna be sitting at home waiting for this vote. Any other questions, comments?
I think it's a great idea, and I'm glad that, that we're working with those guys on it and that they brought it forward. And, it seems like almost everybody in the town wishes we had more activities, more of a kind of a rec center or something like that. And this isn't exactly a rec center, but it's a pretty cool thing. I'm not into skating myself, but I think it's very.
It's a win-win, and I'm super glad that we get to be part of it happening.
Finally, yes, it's about time. Glad I get to be part of it.
Good thing,
The
Clyde.
other thing I would say to you, there's no financial impact, and I think that's one of the reasons that we supported it as a staff, is because they're bringing the money to do the work and it improves our facilities. That's the nice part.
And Jesse was mentioning a couple of months ago, just how one of his goals is to try to find more activities for kids in our town. Noticing that that's kind of a big concern of his. So,
So big kudos to John for reaching out and being proactive, and glad we were able to get to this point very quickly, because this kind of idea came up day before last meeting, I think, so
Yeah.
kudos, good job, everybody. Ready for a vote?
I need to be here. Dr. Hill,
I,
Mr. Hobbs,
I,
Mrs. Lundberg,
Yes.
Mrs. Pascal,
I,
Ms. Schickman.
Aye.
And Mr. Smith.
Alright. Okay, board communications committee reports, Mandy, anything on BOCES?
I have a meeting Thursday.
I don't think there's anything more to discuss on facilities. Communications, Jen, Matt, Kim?
I think go ahead.
Are we discussing the calendar today?
We
It was on
approved it in
It was in
consent.
consent.
Thanks. No, I have nothing.
I think the only kind of big project that's coming up really fast that I will dig into this week is our annual report. So if you have, I've got a couple of story ideas kind of prepped and incubating. But if there's anything in particular that you want to make sure goes in the annual report this year, recommendations, suggestions, let me know.
I would also love a situation where we all proofread it. Thanks.
Yeah, okay.
Or anyone who's interested.
do you have, if you have like an outline of, just bullet points of what you think is gonna be in there, might help germinate some ideas.
Tomorrow I have a bunch of stickies on my board that
Okay.
we'll go through and I will write them, type them out so you can
Yeah.
look over what I have already. Yeah, but things like, just without going to look, facility use, kind of with outside organizations, as we talk about all of our kind of partners and rec things that have come up. I'd love to highlight the ADA play structure at the middle school. Those are kind of the two that are top of my mind right now.
Yeah, maybe just shoot.
Yeah, I'll send you guys an update or a list of,
Can talk about
things.
things.
But I'll shoot you guys
Okay.
a quick.
Great.
And is it going out as a hard copy again?
Yeah, it'll
Does
be,
that every year go out as a hard copy?
yep, it'll go out again as a hard copy to every address in the district. Make sure everyone gets one.
Okay.
But it's one of those, I think it continues to be well received and people feel connected to the district and what's going on and,
So important. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
had some very positive comments
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
it, so.
Yep. so I want to highlight some stuff going on in the schools and, so broad concepts.
Maybe an article on sleeping at the Cheyenne Zoo.
Clearly.
So like night at the museum where like
Kind of,
gate
yeah.
come down and.
Yeah, we used to do that at the Denver Zoo.
Yeah.
An adventure. That's all I
Cool.
can think of.
Jen, anything to Cassie?
I mean, it's happening next
Right.
month, so see you there.
I hope one of you carries my tradition and enjoys Casby, but not Casby.
I've already joined.
Let's see.
A lot of networking, good opportunities. Ben, I assume nothing with Zach.
Nothing with that.
Cool. Kim, I know we're talking about it later, but anything else, election updates?
Yep, I think just that we're waiting officially, the clerks have until, I think Thursday, they have 8 days to finish curing the election. And then the 26th is their deadline to get me certified election results. At which point we have 10 calendar days. I did confirm that with the lawyer today. Which means our regular December meeting will not meet that deadline in terms of swearing in. So we will need to schedule a special meeting to get everyone sworn in.
Like
You ballpark on the
like the
day?
first week of December then.
Yeah, like it has to, assuming, my assumption is they'll take until the 26th. I mean, in theory, they could come in earlier than that,
But
but
it's Thanksgiving, so.
yeah, so my suggestion, put it on the calendar was maybe the 2nd, which is also a Tuesday still. I don't know if that works best for everyone. I don't know if we don't have any CBT things that we have anything else that we need in
No.
21, we did some other CBT things because we needed to get that done during a special meeting, but I don't think we have any other business items that we need to address that night, so. It would really just be the swearing in, as far as I know, so.
Done that before.
So if the second looks like it, we can kind of pencil it in with the assumption that I'll get results within a 10-day window. That's that.
Well, even if you,
It could be any time of the day.
I mean, really,
Yeah.
that works regardless, right?
Okay, as
Oh.
long as my.
As long as they
core
don't come back
folks-
to, 14.
Oh, I see
Yeah,
what you're
like if-
saying. So
if
if they
she
come
was-
back the 14th, we have 10 days from the 14th.
From the 14th. Last time I think they took the whole time, and that would be my expectation.
I mean,
If I penciled in for the second, does that feel good?
mhm.
Okay.
I couldn't do the last week of the month if that happens.
Yeah.
It matters.
All right, that gives me something
Yeah,
to work with.
I can't
and
do the last week of the month either, so hopefully it's.
Do I have to be
maybe
there
the
for
week of the
quorum
17th
purposes or
or the
anything?
I don't think so.
There's nothing.
Yeah, I don't think so, but
That'd be my only purpose.
I think, yeah. Okay.
So
I will
6
find out.
PM still?
My feeling is after work is best for you guys. I mean, you guys kind of tell me.
5:15 would be later.
5:15.
We just talked about it.
5 minute meeting.
5:15, so you can just like come straight from work and go home?
Tiffany, what time do you usually get done at the end of work?
Yeah, I couldn't make it less until 5, but I should be able to make it by 5.
Like 5:15, so we could,
Why don't we do that? Cause then we can go home for dinner.
Yeah, it'll be 10 minutes.
I can always get snacks. Okay, I will pencil that in and then with the assumption that everything, I get stuff back from the clerks as anticipated, then we can. But having that kind of casually on the calendar right now and we'll, as I get information back from them, I will update that.
Did you guys hear that? The second at 5:15?
Okay,
You don't.
agenda review. Mandy, I'm gonna volunteer you,
Okay.
and then you can figure out who you want to be with you. Unless you got somebody else has the capacity the week before too. Could be right before swearing in. Could be
Yeah.
easy that way.
If that would work for you.
Try.
I would- oh,
I haven't done it in a while, but I'm open. Whatever you want.
Okay, I'm gonna put Ben in.
Mandy, Ben.
Okay, I'll make sure we get that scheduled.
I assume more communications will go out to everybody for Casby, especially Tiffany, so she knows what's
Yep.
going on. I don't know if you guys.
You know the
set a
dates.
Free date.
She's got the basics, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys really want to set a retreat date. It's on here, but
And it's one of those, it's on our board monitoring doc, so it's,
we didn't do one last year. Sorry, we didn't do one last year.
We didn't, cause I think we felt like we kind of
Casby.
get some retreat time at Casby.
Yeah.
you know, we
Um,
have
Can we
our,
make it that decision after Casby?
Yeah.
Is that too late?
if we make it at the December meeting would be great, which is before Casby by a couple days, but just so it's on the calendar. I
We could
think.
put it tentatively
Correct.
on the calendar and if
And
we
then
don't
we
do
could
it,
also-
we'll cancel it.
So schedule for December. Okay. Cool.
Okay, thank you guys. It's been fun. Been on reiteration of a lot of different people in the seats and it's like thinking back of like relationships and I think I told a few of you, I called Joel McBride and he was like slapped me through the phone of like, Joe, like done good things, move on, enjoy your more free time and find your next thing and all the things and even throughout the whole last few months of like just running into former board members and different things and it's been just cool. So really rewarding. 8 years ago when I started, I never thought I would enjoy this as much as I have. It was just like, yeah, this sounds like a great thing for my career, like growth and community things. And it was a lot more encompassing than I ever thought. Maybe I took it that way and so on and so forth. I mean, there's what you make of it. So, but you guys did awesome. I don't know how long each of you have been here with me, but I know I've been here the whole time you've been here, so.
You're the common.
I'm common.
You're the common denominator.
So what really was, I just couldn't work with Aaron and Savannah because we're just all too close. To go back too far, so no, you guys have been awesome, this community's been great, Board Work's been great, and as always, I don't really want to stay involved to some degree, but I am a resource of information and I'm always able to help because I still care about this place and I have 4 kids that are going to be running through it, so I don't want things to just fall apart by any means. So, yeah. I don't care if I'm breaking rules of Robert's rules. I'm adjourning this damn meeting.
Amen.
Amen.
All right. Get this music here.